How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. So in today's video, we're jumping on the Dakota today. It's dedicated specifically to the Dakota because we hit a milestone with her. She just hit 100,000 miles. Well, actually I'm about to hit 109,000, but this will be the official 100,000 mile review on the 2000 Dodge Dakota. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, this specific truck has the 4.7 liter V8 Magnum in it. These trucks did come with a 5.9 liter. Unfortunately, this truck does not have that engine, but it sucks on gas enough as it is with the 4.7. But it sounds great, and it's all about miles per gallon, right? Pop open the hood here in a second so you guys can check out the engine bay, and I'll do a nice little cold start, I guess, so you guys can hear it. Sounds great. It's got a little bit of an aftermarket exhaust on it, nothing crazy, but it does have that nice little rumble to it. I'm not really sure the direction I want to go with this video. I'm sure a lot of you are returning subscribers and probably already know the majority about this truck, but in case I hit any new viewers and new fans, we'll just do a broad overview real quick and we'll jump into some more details here because, you know, this is a pretty special moment, I guess. First 100,000 miles, about to hit 109, 110. She's running great, running like a champ, never let me down, and it's been an awesome journey owning this truck so far, and I'm looking forward to the next 100,000. But that's enough me rambling on. Let's jump into some details with this truck and I'll show it to you guys. So there she is, guys, the 4.7 liter V8 Magnum. It's got a dual air intake, K&N filters. Don't judge me, they're a little dirty, they need washed and cleaned. But yeah, nothing too crazy under the hood, nothing aftermarket except for the intake and these fancy blue hose clamp coverings. But in case any of you guys wanted to check it out, there it is. I've never had any mechanical issues with this truck so far, thankfully. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Never had to replace anything, do frequent oil changes, keep up on the maintenance, and it's been running great so far. Starts up on the first crank of the key every time. The only things I've ever really had to replace in here was the clutch fan and the clutch itself from when I was in the accident, as well as the radiator. If you guys aren't familiar with the accident, it was my own personal fault, just a dumb mistake. I have a rebuild series on the truck. I'll tag the playlist up above in the corner if you guys want to go watch it. But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy with it. So moving away from the engine here, we have an aftermarket Cervini's hood on it. It's got the dual air intake right there. They're actually functional. You can see through the vents there. So we'll close this up. So apart from the scoops in the hood, as you guys can tell, it's got the aftermarket aluminum mesh in there, as well as in the grille and the lower bumper there. I believe that was all custom made out of aluminum mesh that was just bent to fit, and they're just held in there with some clips. The ones on the hood are screwed in. But this is a original Dodge Dakota grille that the plastic inners were cut out of to fit the aluminum mesh, and I think that look really suits the truck. That's one of my favorite things about it. And when I was in the accident as well, I had to replace the grille. I was able to save and fix the mesh inserts. I had to get a new bumper and a new lower plastic bumper. The fog lights are aftermarket. They're pretty cool. I did an install on them, kind of basic, but they got the color changing halo rings. I need some new headlights with it because these, as you guys can tell, they're really beat up and they've seen their better days. The whole truck's actually really filthy. It's in need of a very deep detail, a deep clean. So don't judge me too hard, guys. It's winter time around here and it's just gonna get dirty again real quick because it is my daily driver. But so go easy on me on the comments if you guys are gonna hit on me about it being dirty and disgusting right now. So I guess let's move on to the next thing. So as far as parts goes, this truck really doesn't need anything besides the headlights whenever I decide to replace and upgrade those. There is a hole in the exhaust, so I guess an exhaust patch. That could be something to add to the parts list. From the muffler back, it's all stainless, but I'd like to make all of the pipes stainless so I don't have to worry about it rusting anymore. And maybe we'll do a nice little upgrade with that one day. I also want to replace the rear shocks. They're still good, but they're starting to see their better days, and maybe I'll get some nicer ones there. But yeah, part wise, this truck really doesn't need much. It's more cosmetics that I want to get taken care of. In a lot of my other videos, and I've been saying this for a long time, the paint is one of the biggest things I want to get taken care of, especially the roof here. So this truck will be getting painted hopefully this spring. But before we go to repaint it, actually before I say the next thing, when I was in the accident, as you can see, this section of the hood is a different color here. So the hood is going to need repainted. It's starting to get some clear coat problems here, as you guys can see. The rest of the truck's pretty good actually. But before the process of repainting the truck happens, there is some minimal rust problems that I actually need to get taken care of first, because I'd rather get the truck 100% cleaned up with the rust, 100% rust free, and then we'll paint it, seal it up, and then we'll take really good care of it. As you guys can see, getting some Swiss cheese here on the front fender, the other side as well. I'm sure the lip underneath this fender flare is pretty gone. I don't want to do it too much, but you guys can hear it's getting a little crunchy in there, making me a little nervous. So this truck may need 2 front fenders. We'll add that to the parts list. Take you around to the other side here. As you can see, it's starting to come through there a little bit too, but that shouldn't be too much of a hassle. And since the truck's getting repainted anyways, might as well get the new fenders. Moving on to the next rust, not too bad, but it's starting to become on the pinch seam on the rockers here. It's not into the rocker itself yet, but I definitely want to get this taken care of before it spreads upwards and creates a bigger problem down the road. The driver's side's definitely a lot more worse than the passenger side. The passenger side only has a little bit in the back. I don't believe the rear is bad underneath these fender flares, but I won't know until I pop them off. I think I'm going to wait until winter time's over to pop those fender flares off to see what I'm messing with, because I don't want to take them off now and there be no mounting point to put them back on. So I guess we'll deal with that once the weather gets a little bit nicer. I probably will end up taking it to a shop just to get it done a lot quicker, and I don't have a paint booth here either, so might as well get it all knocked out at once. But I will keep you guys updated whenever that process happens. So moving on to the rear of the truck, I guess I'll just go over it with you. We got aftermarket taillights, not sure what brand. We got a bumper delete with a roll pan. I believe that's Cervini's as well. We'll drop open the tailgate here. We got a bed rug from front to back and some bed lights. So in case you gotta be in here at nighttime, you can see what you're doing, which is pretty nice. Tonneau cover on it. Got a Reese hitch in case you gotta tow anything, and the dual exhaust. It does come off of the motor with the 2 manifolds, goes into a single pipe. Then after the muffler, it splits into 2. But they are MagnaFlow tips. They need cleaned, so don't judge me too much. But it sounds good, like I said. It's got a nice little rumble to it. Guess I'll show you guys the wheels. They're filthy too. Got American Racing. I can't recall the name or the model name of the wheel. I know they are discontinued, so they don't make this style wheel anymore. And they're sitting on the Cooper Discover AT tires, which are pretty good for an all-weather tire. So I guess the next thing I'll show you guys is the interior. There's nothing too crazy or custom in here. I got a steering wheel cover, if you want to count that. I installed some under dash lights. You can change them with any color you want. Got the remote down there, but I usually keep them on blue, so that's pretty cool. Just hooks up to the cigarette lighter there. Previous owner had the headrest embroidered with Dakota, which is a nice little touch. Nothing too fancy, but... And jumping into the back here, we got a aftermarket sub box with some MTX audio subs. Not sure what size or model or anything. I don't know anything about them besides they sound really good. There's one on each side, and they get turned on with this little toggle switch that was installed into the dash there. The amp is underneath the passenger seat here. Not sure if you can see it, but it's wired directly to the battery. So I moved up the passenger seat so you guys can see the amp a little better. Alphasonic brand. I know nothing about it. I've never messed with it, but haven't had any problems with it. It's been working great. So moving out of the interior here, I guess the last thing is these door sills. They were aftermarket. They were on it when I bought it. They're pretty cool. Nice little touch. I like them. So that pretty much does it for in there. Well, guys, when filming the interior, I forgot to mention this. It also has aftermarket gauge cluster. I'm not sure if this is just an overlay or a whole new cluster. I'm not sure if these were the gauges the Dakotas actually came with. But as you can see, there are some creases in here. Those were actually in it when I bought the truck. So maybe one day here I'll get around to pulling this unit out and replacing that and making it look a little nicer. But for now, it's pretty nice. I like it. This truck also has power locks and power windows, as well as a power lock key fob, which all of that is a nice added bonus because I believe some of these Dakotas did not come with those features. So this past summer, I also did a brake replacement. We did new rotors and pads up front, and in the rear we did all new calipers, new rotors, and new pads. Drilled and slotted rotors all the way around. This truck does have disc brakes on the back, which I forgot to mention that. It was an aftermarket kit that somebody put on it at one point, and it's a nice little performance upgrade actually. It stops pretty well. Don't really have any complaints about it. It performs like a normal vehicle should. It's not like a super performance package or anything like that, but I guess that's a nice little added bonus if you want to call it that. So there they are, guys. Can't see them too fairly, but I did color match them as well, so nice little touch. Like I said, I got to clean everything up. Everything's really dirty. I've never had any brake issues with the truck besides just general repairs, like with replacing the pads or when things go bad. I did have a brake line issue at one point. My brakes went out, had a pinhole in the steel line, which I personally believe trucks, or any vehicle for that matter, should come from the factory with a steel line, fuel line, brake line, whatever it is. They should all be stainless, nickel, whatever, something that doesn't rust. So I guess down the road from now, maybe I'll do a full stainless line replacement on this truck for fuel and brake lines. But I did replace that specific section with stainless lines, so that section should never rust again, or I shouldn't have any pinholes from now on. I think on that note, guys, let's jump in the truck real quick and we'll give it a nice little cold start, maybe do some revs. And it probably will be a little louder than usual just due to the hole in the exhaust, but on that note, let's jump inside and fire it up. So guys, if I had to say, apart from the headlights, the small hole in the exhaust, the minor rust problems, and getting the truck repainted, this truck really doesn't need much. It's performed well ever since I've had it. I've never had any mechanical or performance issues with it. Apart from routine maintenance like oil changes, I do it every 3,000 to 4,000 miles. I took care of some brake issues down the line. Other than that, I've never had an issue with this truck. I'd highly recommend getting one if you guys are shopping for a truck, especially if you're a first-time truck buyer and you're looking for your first truck. These second-gen Dakotas, I'd buy it again, you know, if I was in the market for one. I know some people do complain that they have transmission issues. I've never had a transmission problem with this truck. Now watch, after I said that, and then I'll have one. This truck has shifted smoothly ever since the day I bought it. Four-wheel drive works great. The AC and the heat both work awesome. But I think that will do it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you drop a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. If you want to see any other videos on the Dakota, leave some suggestions down below, or any vehicles for that matter. Leave some ideas down below what you guys want to see next. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, please consider subscribing. We got a bunch of other cool videos already on the channel and a bunch of cool new ones on the way in the works. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And I guess on that note, we'll just sign off with the usual. Always accelerate and don't look back. See you next time.